So welcome everyone for this launch of Curiosoil Committee of Practice for Soil Education Practitioners. My name is Abdul, I work at ECOLISE and I'm part of a wonderful consortium that is working on this project. The agenda for today, a little bit cropped. We'll start now by presenting what is the Curiosoil project in its global shape. What is the Committee of Practice? What is the role of Committee of Practice members today? Then I'm going to give the floor to two work package leaders to present in depth what we're going to work on. Because the Committee of Practice are spread out into 17 countries, we're going to organize breakout rooms within countries or languages to have a little bit of networking, sharing within your country. So without using the English language, you'll be able to speak in French between Belgium and French, German in Germany, etc. Then at 3:10, we'll go back all together in plenary and to answer any left question and answers. And we're going to end with an EcoSoil presentation, which is a kindred project on the soil mission. I wanted to give a little highlight of who is behind Curiosoil. We have a consortium of various organizations spread out in different countries. And I wanted to show you that so that you could directly link in the country you're based, who is the Curiosoil partners that would be relevant to connect, to link with. And do not worry, you will receive all those slides at the end of the meeting, as well as the recording. Just to say, we have quite a good overview and quite a good spread across the EU, plus Switzerland. The ambition of Curiosoil, it's part of the soil mission, is to improve soil literacy in society. And our key focus especially is in schools, at least in educational curriculum. So we will try to contribute for citizens, for public authorities to have an increased knowledge on how to manage soil health in a more sustainable way, which is good because as you have shared, that's also your focus, and that's what let's say unites us in this committee of practice. Voila. So we have several objectives. I wanted to give a little overview of how we're going to do that. Well, the project has started just in February and it's going to last for 4 years. We're going to start with preparing some soil literacy assessment that will be spread in different schools so we can assess how is the soil literacy knowledge right now, what is the baseline that we're working on that we'll be able to assess at the end of our projects if there was improvement on that regard. We have one focus will be to engage educators, soil educators. What are they doing already on the ground? What materials are they preparing? And how do they do their work? Then we will also design immersive soil experience. I'm not going to say more. I'm going to give the floor to Henrique in a minute. We have another work package also with an in-depth presentation on how to engage public authorities, educational public authorities, but also policymakers, decision makers. And because we want to ground that with what is already happening with experts on soil educations, we are launching this committee of practice, all of us, our 87 of us today, that will work to improve all the deliverables that the project will do. If there is one slide you need to understand and to remember, it's this one. The main objective of this committee of practice is to pilot all the materials that we will generate so that we can ensure that they are adapted to your cultural context, to your country. We will translate them and that they will be piloted in schools or in workshops, and that we can integrate the feedback so that by the end of the project, they would have been tested, validated, and with a good quality to be spread. The second part will be to co-create national workshops of recommendation on soil educations. Well, we're going to go a bit in depth there. I would like to give the floor now for Henrique to present work package 3 of Curiosoil. And if there is any question, feel free to use the chat. I can slow down, I can repeat. The floor is yours, Henrique.
Thank you, Abdul. We'll make a very quick presentation about the work package 3. I will share my screen here. Please confirm that you are seeing the screen.
Confirmed.
So Curiosoil Work Package 3 is aiming at designing immersive soil experiences. And I have a very simple call to action for you. I'm firstly going to present all the subtasks. The main objective is to create digital tools or educational tools. So we are beginning with a mapping of the existing digital tools that are applied for in-person and digital education. We will create a visual wiki of soil images and diagrams, compilation of recorded soil sounds and interactive soil sound installation for exhibitions. So this is really all senses education, like to create a really immersive experience for soil education. And then a compilation of soil videos and creation also of new soil videos. And here again, the touching, the smelling, the tasting of soil, and then the realization of hackathons and artathons and interactive exhibitions later on in the project. And then the final delivery is a soil curiosity kit that educational organizations can implement in their own locals, in their own organization, and test it. And so what is the call to action here for you? If you please help us to review the existing digital resources for soil education. Maybe your organization already implements some kind of resource, or maybe you know other organizations or other documents that you may refer to help us gather all this information. We are focusing mainly on these languages because these are the languages of the consortium: Portuguese, English, Spanish, Dutch, French, Norwegian is maybe it's like that. Well, these are the languages, but you don't have to be only in these languages. Maybe you find something from other countries around the world, USA, Canada, or Americas, Africa, Asia, that you find important. Maybe you can also share, and the list of digital resources will be published in the Curiosoil website. So if you go to this website here, we can maybe copy it to the, I will put it in the chat. But if you go to here, there is a very small form that you can fill and put a link to the resource, and then it will help us a lot in this task. Yeah, that's it. I will pass to you again.
Thank you, Henrique. I will now pass it on to Dario. Maybe a question. 1 second, Henrique. So does digital mean that it's published online from Maya?
No, not. It can be. Well, we have to have access to it. It can be an activity that is made in person, but we'll need like a PDF or something that describes the activity. So there has to be something digital for we to analyze, but it can be related to an in-person activity.
Thank you, Maya, for your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Henrique, and feel free to ask questions along the way. And now giving the floor to Dario.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. And so I will share my screen. And but first of all, so can you share? Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No, yeah. Let me see.
Yes.
Okay.
Now it's yes.
Now wait a second. Just I think. Okay. Awesome. So I'm Dario Pollicino. and I work for the EUCN Center for Mediterranean Cooperation, and we lead, EUCN leads work package 4. I'll try to be as brief as possible, even though like I want to give you all the main information about this work package, which is, I believe, quite important in the structure of Curiosoil. So the name is Engaging Educational Public Authorities, Policy and Decision Makers. And the main objective is to produce recommendations and guidelines for educational public authorities at all levels of education. So by this we mean primary, secondary, tertiary, and vocational education. The work package is divided in 4 tasks. The first one is led by our colleagues of ESHA, and I saw some of them here in the meeting. So if you have any question also regarding this task, you can also ask these questions to our colleagues. I saw Hook and I think Avery. And so the main activities of this task consist in a desk research to review and analyze all the existing regulations, policies, and support mechanisms related to soil education at the different levels of education. And the objective is to analyze all these existing recommendations, both at the European level and at the national level, to see what this, like, to analyze how these recommendations try to promote the integration of soil science into educational curricula. So always at the 3 different levels. And this task has been the first one to start. It has started with the beginning of the project in February, and will last till July of the next year. So this is probably the priority right now for us. So I want to give some more information about what's going on. Our colleagues at ESHA have already produced a very beautiful document on the research guidelines for country analysis. So we already have these guidelines that we will use to analyze policies to integrate soil education in the educational curricula at all levels. And so the first element is analyzing the narrative of soil education across Europe, so at the European level, EU level, and then to analyze each country's specific dynamics narrative on soil education. And so your involvement in this task could be very helpful, very useful. And so some of the suggestions provided to us by our colleagues, ESHA colleagues, is that it would be great if you could provide us with information and resources, such as articles and name of organizations, name of contact persons, to understand better these 4 key points. So the level of autonomy that schools have in developing their own curricula, the key actors, organizations in the education sector that we should consider, the soil-related school subjects and educational materials within your country, of course, and existing recommendations and policies aimed at integrating soil into education. So if you could provide us with some information and resources regarding these points and some others that we can provide to you, like after the meeting, that would be great. That would be a great contribution from the COPs. And what we and the work package could offer to COPs is the regulatory analysis, so insights into the existing regulations and policies, both at the European level and at the national level, about how soil education could be integrated at the different levels. Of course, there's also an important component, which is knowledge sharing and network strengthening. That means that, of course, like looking also at the policies being promoted and implemented in other countries, we believe there's an opportunity to grow there, because it's an opportunity to share experiences and to share knowledge, and to also maybe reach out to each other to know more about what's going on in different countries. And then best practice guidelines, so access to detailed EU and national guidelines for embedding soil science into educational curricula. So this is something that could help you maybe in your work at the national level, also for policy advocacy activities. Then the second task, which is also probably the most relevant right now, because we are already in the phase of trying to plan how to carry out this task, is the fact that we will organize national workshops for the co-creation of recommendations for soil education. So the main objective, as you can see, is to co-create with a very wide range of educational stakeholders, and there are educational stakeholders always at the three different levels. So co-create recommendations for policymakers. And the idea is to organize workshops with all these different stakeholders, so that they can help us better understand the national context, what are the main barriers, what are the main solutions to integrate soil education in national curricula. And we believe that the involvement of the CoPs in this task is quite fundamental for different reasons. So we have two different tasks within this one, and the first one is led by Esha, and it consists in the organization of 15 national workshops, so one for each country, to engage school leaders. And so in this case, we focus on primary and secondary education, and the objective is to create to co-create these recommendations, as I was mentioning before. And the second subtask is led by the Wageningen University and consists in organizing 15 national workshops, of course, always one per country, to engage tertiary education stakeholders. So, and by that we mean rectors, vice rectors, university managers, and so on and so forth. What we think that CoPs could provide to this task is assist in identifying the most pertinent actors to be invited to the workshops. So who do you think are the most experienced and knowledgeable people that we should invite to the workshops to co-create the best recommendations that will then be communicated to policymakers, offer suggestions on how to actively engage these people. Maybe another key question will be the language question. So it's something that we have not discussed so far, but of course it will be interesting to see how the different CoPs can help us also in using the appropriate language to contact people and to then develop the recommendations using a language which is adequate for each country. And finally, also contributing to shaping the questions that might effectively elicit meaningful policy recommendations. So each country has a different cultural background, and your contribution could help us in designing and drafting the best questions to elicit answers that can help us then compile a set of recommendations for policymakers. Because the final output of this task is a report in which we will outline all the recommendations that have been co-created during the workshops. And this is what we think we can offer to the CoPs in terms of the outputs of this task. And so we have first tailored recommendations, so access to the reports with all the specific recommendations for integrating soil education in primary, secondary, and tertiary educational levels. Stakeholder insights, so analysis of school leaders and university managers' opinions on the main challenges and solutions for incorporating soil education, and strategic advocacy tools. So the possibility of utilizing comprehensive reports to support advocacy efforts and policy discussions at the national level. These reports that will be produced in the previous task will be key in order to organize this third task, which is the organization of 15 national level conferences, always one per country, in which we will discuss with policymakers the recommendations that have been created in the previous task, in the previous workshops. So in this case, the objective is to present and discuss these recommendations. And at the end of each national conference, we will draft a policy brief with all the main information that have been the information that have been discussed during the national conferences, and outlining the main results. So in this case, we also think that the CoPs could help identify also relevant actors, and in terms of decision makers that we could invite to these workshops. And also, given that each policy brief will be drafted in national languages, this could be also a good occasion to ask you whether we are using the correct language to be as effective as possible to communicate policy recommendations to policymakers. Finally, we will organize a European conference in Brussels The objective is to have more than 100 on-site stakeholders to disseminate project results and present targeted recommendations for policymakers. So this is will happen in the last few months of the project. So it's quite early to speak about that. So I wanted to highlight in the presentation, especially the fact that this work package has a very coherent structure, and each activity, each task will provide information for the next and will build upon the results of the previous one. So you can see the soil education policy analysis. It's the first task that has started, and this will feed, the results will feed in the organization of the national workshops. The result of the national workshops, the recommendations co-created with educational stakeholders will serve, will help us in organizing the national level conferences and to communicate to policymakers what are the main recommendations for integrating soil education at all the different levels. And then there's a final conference in Brussels where policymakers will be invited. This is the timeline of the tasks and the main deliverables. So you can see probably we will start contacting you for task 4.1, which is the policy education analysis. And then the second task, which is the organization of national workshops, will start next year, but it will start in July, but we will probably start contacting you for some help in the previous months. So starting probably in May, June, and then task 4.3 and task 4.4 will start in quite later. So I think it's quite early to speak about them, but if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dario. I hope with this presentation on this whole package 4, you can really see it. We're going to provide quite a platform for voices to be heard around policies for soil health and for soil education. And it will happen nationally in your countries, in your languages, with your policymakers and decision makers. So that's why we want to invite you to engage, because it's not literally going to be Curiosoil coming with the messages. We're going to co-create that together, co-create that event together, and give the floor and give this platform for this to be spread. Likewise, for the educational materials, it's things that are already being used and are already being applied. I would like to give maybe one or two voices. If somebody has a question they would like to voice to the attendance, or any clarification on the Curiosoil project. I must tell you that I will send you the slides that have much more content of what we're delivering, what we're going to do, and you can then cherry pick which topic is of your most interest. Okay, a question from Vanessa. How can we identify local contact point of the project? So for now, I will be the point of contact. You have my emails, you receive the calendar invitations, and the committee of practice will work right now centrally. And in a year or two, when national events will start to being organized, we'll go more on the country level. Does that answer your question, Vanessa? So for now, centralize, and then slowly we'll be in the country level to organize things on the ground. I really invite you to ask me questions, otherwise I will ask you questions.
Maybe a question. Oh, I see someone else has a question.
Please, Elise.
Hello, everyone. Well, I posted my question actually in the chat, but I can say it out loud. I'm speaking from Norway, well, actually in Slovenia at the moment. So my question was regarding whether the focus of the project is on agricultural soils or productive soils, and from the perspective of the natural sciences, or whether or not soil humanities or social sciences and also the arts will be included in soil education.
I would love to ask for support from my colleagues. any of my Curiosoil colleagues would like to answer.
Well, it has been a bit of a consortium debate as well. I think we had our kickoff in Aviro some months ago, and well, the historians and social scientists amongst us were very much in favor of course, including humanities as well. I think it's not a point on which we are principally opposed, but we have to see, for now, sort of the materials and the questionnaires, I think will be mostly on soil itself, like agricultural natural soils. But yeah, we haven't finished that debate yet, so there might be a chance for humanities.
Thank you, Puk. And if I pick up Vanessa's answer on the definition of soil, likewise, we had a long discussions, and maybe you will be able to contribute there. Are we talking about the chemical component, the living components? Well, yeah, we have many layers. Yes. Puk, you had a question, Puk, besides the answers.
Well, I thought if no one else has a question, maybe to you, Abdul, what do you look most forward to with this project, with coordination?
Okay, I think Curiosoil has a very beautiful ambition. I'm a father. My daughter has 2-year-old. She's playing with soil. She's putting her fingers in. She's really playing around. And in 4 years, when the project will end, I hope that at the local school here, the teacher will have materials to keep that curiosity alive, because I think it stops at some point. There is an age, maybe adulthood, where the curiosity of soil becomes not curiosity, it becomes something distant. So that's really let's say my personal ambition, that at school, in primary school, secondary schools, educators are equipped with material to bring that to kids. Kids have the opportunity to learn, to experiment. I just read that in the chat where there is an abandoned field. How about we try piloting and try to restore soil with 1 layer of mulch, 1 layer of... yeah, that would be my ambition and excitement. Passing on to Harry.
Yes, hi, good afternoon all. I work for the ESHA, the European School Heads Association, and I see in the chat a question by Valentina Del Conte, and she says, I represent a country outside the list of targeted countries. Will we get any chance to participate? And my initial answer would be yes, but what would your answer be, Abdul? Thank you.
I confirm, yes. So the project is officially on 16 countries that you might have seen on the call. So let's say we have the commitment to deliver everything we committed to in those 16 countries. Here you will see around the table, we have also participants from outside. The events are public. The materials are public. They are open source. The feedback would be relevant whether you're part of the target countries or not. The only thing that is not available is what Dario has presented. All the national workshops that we planned to do in those 15 countries, we have to do them on these 15 countries. We have a budget for these countries, and we will not be able to do it outside. But all the rest, the feedback, the piloting, joining those conversations, you are very welcome to join.
Yes, and perhaps I might add one thing is the policy document is an open document to everyone, to every European country, whether they are targeted or not. And we will spread that open document and invite any country, any European country to answer the questions there, and so be part of our community. Thank you.
There was a question and answer. Are we planning for World Soil Day 2024 in the 5th of December? Maybe the project has just started. We have a lot of things to set up. So maybe that's always, but 2026, yes. And 7 and 8, yes. Okay, maybe any last question? Okay, otherwise it's my turn. How is your level of English? I am impressed. It is actually quite a good level of English speaker. I think there might be a bias because you read invitations in English. This meeting is in English, so maybe most English speaking participants are here. Yes, that's why just to mention about the language part. So this meeting and most transnational CoP meetings will be in English, but everything that will happen then locally will be in your native language. To be able also to engage non-English speaker, voila, to be more inclusive of that. And if you know somebody that didn't join today, for instance, because of that barrier, that's okay. And you can let them know that future steps will be in the native language, mainly to support that. Okay. So in that theme, now we're gonna open some breakout rooms in languages, in per countries and languages. And I invite you with an exercise of 3 simple questions. So the first 8 minutes, just a round table, giving the floor to each of you. Name, location in the country, and what's your link with the soil education. And after that first round table, sharing about what part of Curiosoil that you've heard up till now do you find the most interesting? And finally, what would you like to bring or do in the community of practice? I'm gonna paste those instructions in the chat, and we're gonna split you per countries and languages. And if there isn't that many participants of your country, we're gonna let you stay into the main room. We're gonna have a big round table in English in this main room for solitary participants, solo Slovenian. Sorry, Maya, but welcome to chat. So whenever we're ready, Henrique, we can launch the breakout rooms, and see you in 25 minutes approximately for this networking time within your country with fellow soil educators.
Okay, we are ready. Let's go.
Deliver. We will start with a soil literacy assessment, which will be sent to primary and secondary schools to assess what is the level of soil literacy right now. We're going to do that again at the end of the project to analyze the improvements overall. So that's the part of the assessment. Another stream will be to engage educators. There will be several deliverables to provide materials for educators, MOOCs, training videos, challenges, and and also best practices and guidelines on how to implement them. Oops, went a bit too fast. There's the Soil Curiosity Kit on the stream of soil experiences. It will be videos, diagrams, sensorial soil experiences that goes with the hands, really on the practical. We'll also do some exhibition, hackathons. There is a lot to unpack in the work package 3, which is really on the experience of soil. Dario has explained everything about engagement with public authorities, policy makers, decision makers, the organization of national workshops and conferences in each country, and then one EU final conference at the end of the project. Then there is us, this community of practice, spread around 15 and a little bit more communities that will really be piloting all of the materials that we've talked previously, and another task that I will share just now. And Curiosoil will also do a lot on communication on 4 different topics to try to reach out on soil education. Now, to go back to the community of practice, there is one first task or one first support that you can do. Part of the project is to map educational soil the initiative, but outside of education. So not at school, not at universities. Like the discussion we had in plenary, we can have many other setups of soil engagement in informal settings, detached home with gardens or other things. So we're trying to map that. and I'm going to send you an email about that, but you can already think about it. Soil initiatives outside of educational settings, and we're going to select 15 and feature them, go there, record demonstration videos to give them really a platform of how great those initiatives are. Yes. So that's one part of the community of practice can help with. Up. I've mentioned already the testing and demonstration of the educational materials. So this will start from this September until February 2027, where I'm giving you a big heads up so it can start being prepared, because we know getting in touch with schools, coordinating with them might take time. The pedagogical program is prepared a year ahead. So that's what we will do too. A year ahead, we will announce them, tell them what are the materials that we need to test, and go with that, and go with this piloting. So in a summary, what are the expectations from CoP members? Help us to identify non-formal soil education initiatives. That's now. Very soon, piloting the materials that we will provide. Give us feedback so we can improve their quality, adapt them to cultural differences, to cultural adaptations. And even later, co-create together all of those events, all of those national events to connect with your local authorities, with policymakers. Okay. I hope it is a bit more clear. It looks a lot, but remember that the project is 4 years. It just started now, and we have every year a priority to do. And I will share with you the slides, and there's hidden slides I didn't want to overwhelm you with that you can study at ease comfortably. Yes, Harry.
Yeah, thank you. In my subgroup, in my room, there was a question that it's a bit clear what they need to bring to the whole consortium, but what do they get back in return? That was a nice question, and we kind of handed it over to you, Abdul. What would your answer be?
Thank you for the hot potato. Wonderful. So what do CoP members get? First of all, you are the forefront of everything we will do. You will have a first access of all the materials we do, and you have a way to influence them, to adapt them. That's the first thing. The second thing is all for those national events that we're going to organize. There will be budget for the organization, for renting the venues, for extra support that will require. So that will happen in 2 years. We'll start selecting from CoP members who we will support financially to help us organize those national events. Voila. And the main thing is, if soil education is already like in your field of study or in field of professionally, then you get everything we do as work as already input. If you work in the soil education setup, we will give you the materials for you to try to work on them and to deliver them. So we're as much serving the CoP members as they are serving us. You can also use us as a platform to spread words on initiatives that you do, the educational materials that you use. And whenever the voice will need to reach policymakers or local authorities, then we give you that platform too. It will happen in 2027, 2028 during these events. So you can be heard with, let's say, the fame of being from an EU soil project, from EU soil mission project. I hope it answers the question. I hope you're excited to contribute. And also just to say, you can contribute in different ways. You saw the deliverables. We have many deliverables. We don't need everybody to work on everything. If 5 people give the feedback and pilot the MOOCs, and 5 people work on the videos, etc., then the spread of knowledge is perfect. The spread of countries would be perfect. So there's no need to feel overwhelmed, but just select what is of your interest and just focus on that. Speaking of which, I will just launch one more poll, and then I will get the question from Sonia. which part of the CoP member role are you the most interested in? You might need to open the window a little bit to read it fully. Question from Vanessa: what does it mean to be part of the soil mission ecosystem? Curiosoil is a EU soil mission project. So by being part of this committee of practice, you will be linked to all the initiatives that are happening. As for instance, we have LUS, our sister project that has joined today, and there will be synergies and collaboration together. There's another project, ECO, that we're going to hear in a few minutes. So it gives you an entry door to all the rest of initiatives that are happening, that are being supported by the EU on soil missions. Okay, so I really welcome the diversity. We have enough CoP members for each of the topics. And yes, really focus on what you're interested in. There are other people that will be interested in the rest. And wonderful that. Sonia, do you still want to take the floor?
Hello, everybody. I apologize for joining later and not being with you at the breakout rooms. I just wanted to the last question of what people is taking out of this. I think Abdul pretty much said everything, but what I could add is that apart from being one piece of the puzzle of the soil mission projects and one of the objectives, which is objective 8, which is increasing soil literacy, and I encourage you all to go back to all the objectives and the soil mission and to see how we are part of this puzzle. And a part of that, I think, being in the forefront of the development of soil education, which will be the materials that our students will use, hopefully, in the next decade or so in Europe. I think that's quite challenging and interesting, and it has been part of this process through reviewing and piloting the materials. You have the chance to co-create these materials with us. But in any case, this is the first meeting. Abdul is organizing this movement, and it's the time also for you to let us know what are your expectations. So make sure that you make also clear to us what are your expectations in participating in this CoP, and how we can best find the balance between what everybody, and make sure that everybody is taking the best of it. So thank you, and thank you, Abdul, and all for participating.
Thank you, Sonia. And to answer also, there was a question about hours of involvement each month, or for each option required. I think it's not going to be on a monthly basis, but maybe on every 3 months, we're going to do an online event presenting you of the deliverables that we have produced, asking you to provide feedback and to study that. So that's more of the frequency. Every 3-4 months, we will present you what we did, give us feedback asynchronously offline. So well, it's not a weekly meetings or monthly meetings. So feel free to continue asking questions on the chat. I'd like to invite for a pause on Curiosoil and giving the floor to Olga.
Hello, yes, thank you, Abdul. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'll share my screen, if that's all right, for just a few moments. I just need to find. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay. All right, I hope that everyone can see my screen now. Okay. Great. So thank you so much for the opportunity again. I'm here to briefly present to you another soil mission project that's ECO, and our current open call that we have for ECO ambassadors. I am a PhD candidate at the Department of Sustainable Development and Change at the University of Hohenheim in Germany, and I'm part of the ECO team in Germany. So first, as I said, I'll present you a little bit of ECO, what it is, and then I'll go right into talking a little bit about our open call. So ECO, as I already mentioned, is a research and innovation action that's co-funded by the European Union and the UK Research and Innovation, and it's under the Horizon program as well. And the main aim of ECO is to engage citizens in protecting and restoring soils, mainly by building their skills and enhancing their knowledge. It started last year and it will last for around 4 years. And between 2025 and 2026, the main initiatives that ECO will be part of ECO will be citizen science initiatives. I don't know if anyone has heard of citizen science, but it will be mainly where citizens contribute to science and will help with information about the health status of European soils through soil sampling. And the project is an effort of 16 partners from all over Europe. Our coordinator is Tania Mimo from the Free University of Bolzano in Italy. And so now I'll introduce you to our current open call for what we call ECO ambassadors. Our call is currently open for the countries of Finland, Germany, Greece, Italy, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Scotland, and Spain. And we will be opening our call for other European countries in the upcoming months. But for now, we are only accepting applications from these countries. And anyone can become an ECO ambassador if they are interested in soil and soil health. And so I think I'm in the right place. And so the main tasks or roles of our ECO ambassadors would be that together with us, with the ECO partners, they would be involved in co-designing local citizen science initiatives. They will encourage the citizens' involvement in these initiatives and lead the efforts in coordinating them in their areas or with their communities, and support the future citizen scientists in collecting soil samples in these areas. And that involves mainly helping to distribute soil sampling toolkits, like the one you can see here, which is in the process in the making of, and collecting also the data and other tasks as well, that if you want to learn more about it and the project overall, you can visit our website. I linked it here at the left. And if you are indeed interested in becoming an ECO ambassador, after you learn more about it, you can fill out the form under the link at the right. And we will inform you about our upcoming co-creation workshops, where you will also have the opportunity to put your input into what you would expect as an ECO ambassador or for your community. And we aim it to be a co-creation process as well. And I cannot share with you the dates or times because it depends on the country you are applying to. And for example, for us, for Germany, we will be having our upcoming workshops at the end of this month. So if you're from Germany and are interested, we will share those details with you. And I also wanted to mention that in case you are not interested about becoming an Eco ambassador, you can also check out our project, and because in January 2025 you could join us as a citizen scientist yourself, where you could collect soil samples from the soil you're interested in, and we will be happy to have you on board. And that is it. Here's more details of our contacts, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you. And this is really an example of what the soil mission ecosystem is about. And we'll try every time to link our project, other projects, find synergies, give you these kind of opportunities so you can be informed and participate. We are reaching the end of our meeting. It went fast. I don't know about you. For me, it went really fast, this hour and a half. And I'm going to conclude with one last question. It's a little bit of a temperature check of how today went. Do you want us to meet again? And again, honesty. Okay, with a score like this one, I think it's pretty clear. I can maybe assume that there's 20 people that didn't want to say no and they say no, so there's still a good 80%. So that means, unfortunately, we have to meet again. Unfortunately, I have to organize another meeting all together. Good news is it is already, coming soon. It is set up. I'm gonna invite you all to another meeting in September for, let's say, our first transnational meeting. The description is pretty light for now. I just invite you to save the date, 9th of September. As you have seen, I love those dates that match the month, 9 of 9. It's gonna be easy to remember. And we're gonna present you the latest updates on our project, what deliverables we have till now, and start building up the relationship and start working together. I will pass the link for registration here. All the attendees will be registered automatically, but if you would like to spread the word, I will provide you other materials there. Save the date for now, and see you in 3 months. Between then, you have my contacts. I will also send a follow-up email with the recording, the presentations, the contact of each work package. And if you have any question, any ideas, anything, feel free to reach out. You have my email. So thank you for today.